Hey everybody, welcome to KM Reviews. I am Niddleman. Today we are talking about the long-awaited Yucatan, however you want to pronounce it. I got the all-in pledge. So we got pyramids in here, we got 3D stuff, we got expansion 5 to 6 player stuff, solo mode stuff. Everything is time-stamped below. I'm doing an unboxing of it all, as well as a reboxing of it all after I kind of have everything put together. Kind of show you how I put the pyramids back in this box. I show you kind of how I've organized the player trays, and all that sort of stuff. Also in the link below, I have the link to the video where I did the Kemet Blood in the Sand all-in unboxing and reboxing. That one I have a really awesome wooden insert for, so I highly suggest watching that one as well. At the end of the video, I will have a lot to say about this game, positive and negative. I am glad I got this. I wish we didn't have to wait so long, but yeah, check out the unboxing or fast forward to whatever it is you want to watch. All right, guys, we got a lot to unbox here. We got the solo mode, we got the 5 to 6 player expansion, we got the base box, we got all sorts of craziness here. This is the all-in pledge for Yucatan. We got sleeves, we have this awesome player mat, which I actually really like the artwork on the back side. It's really nice. We have a round board here. I find that the numbers are actually pretty clear. I don't know if you can see that. The colors pop. I'm pretty happy with the mat. It's not wrinkled or anything. But let's dive into these boxes and see what we got going on. All right, so we're gonna start with the base box here, but before I do that, I wanna point out that they did have some tiles that were misprinted, like the 5 to 6 player expansions. These said 2 on them instead of 1. These had some sort of misprint on them. So they sent these in the box that I got the all-in pledge. Some people did not get these though, so if you don't have these, make sure you get them. Also, if you notice, I have my orange ball over here, my dog's orange ball, because he's squeaking it like crazy. But let's see what we got going on in this thing. First of all, I do want to point out, I like the artwork. I really like the art style that this game has, kind of this very dark motif going on. All right, it looks like on top here, we have some player aid stuff. This is another language though. Don't need the other language stuff. Okay, so we have 2 player aids. Okay. There will be 2 more player aids in the 5 to 6 player expansion for a total of 4, which I really wish there was 1 for every player. So I'm gonna throw this one away, that's not English. We have our English rulebook, which my understanding is there's going to be a new rule book, because my God, have there been some issues with this rule book if you've been following it online. Just lots of stuff that's not super clear. I do like that they have all these icons on the back though, assuming they're accurate. I like when you can just kind of leave a rule book as its own little player aid as well. We have the pyramid storage box, which, you know, look at this piece of crap. Let's be real. This is a piece of crap. It's real flimsy. You're going to be holding your pyramids in there. They weren't super clear on how the pyramids store in here, although on Board Game Geek now they have directions. I'll show you that when it's all put together. Not super happy with that though, I'll be honest. But it is what it is. Oh, okay, the punch board. We got a bunch of punch board stuff here. I'm not going to go over what all this is. We're just looking at it real quick. I do have the deluxified stuff, so a lot of this I'm probably not even going to be using, like the corn and the jade. Got some pyramid stuff, some player token stuff, some more pyramid, and all sorts of punch boardy things. I love the color scheme though, I gotta say. Some pyramid stuff, some more stuff. Some more stuff. This is your little, if you're not going to use the other 3 pyramids, you could just use this board here. Some of the, looks like the cities and stuff. We have our actual or not cardboard, but you know, the actual board, which, does this have artwork on the back? Yep, same artwork on the back. I just prefer the player mat though, to be honest. Oh, sorry, just smacked the camera. All right, then in here, ooh, we got a bunch of stuff. I believe these little cardboard, yep, is for Kemet. So I just did a Kemet unboxing and stuff. I'm gonna have to add these things to it. So it looks like we have white, black, and blue. Got some standees, and I don't remember where I set it, but this did come with some standees as well, so that's kind of cool. Set these off to the side. Right here, we got tons of these gray minis. I believe there's a couple different sculpts. Let's see if we can pull them out really quick. There's a ton of these. I'm not gonna bother looking through all that right now, but the point is there's a ton of these, okay? Basically a bag per player from what it looks like. Got a bunch of punch out stuff. There's gonna be a lot of trash here. We have some other city tiles, some more pyramid stuff, stuff that's gonna go on top of the pyramids, pyramid stuff, pyramid stuff, pyramid stuff, lots of pyramid stuff. What do we got going on here? Pyramid stuff. I think this is like the main pyramid, but I don't know. Okay, we got all that pyramid junk. Not really junk, but you know. All right, then we have the wood upgrade. I'm really happy about this. Got some chunky bits, right? So we got this thick wood, so I'll be using this stuff instead of the cardboard. We have it for all the different colors here. I do find it strange, like for example, let's see if I have a couple things here. I guess that's fine. It's just, I don't know, the coloring looks weird. Like the green, this kind of goldish brown, whatever's on the end there, just kind of looks messy. I don't know. I'm glad there's wood, but it does look like it's not super clean. I don't know. Honestly, I'm fine with it though. It seems okay. Let's see. Like that looks nice. Overall, we got all the colors for that. This is also the 5 and 6 player expansion stuff. They threw this in the core box. Got that. Got more gray minis. Got tons of those. We got the actual warriors. So there's multiple sculpts for each one. If I can get this bag open, I'll show you. So for example, we have our green warrior dude, or chieftain. Hold on, Gary. My dog wants to go outside. Got a couple different sculpts there. So they all have 3 different sculpts going on. So you can kind of tell who you're activating. Blue has these. I did see in one of the Board Game Geek threads, or maybe it was online, somebody had 2 of these guys of a particular color and only 1 warrior. Luckily, it looks like I got all the correct sculpts. Then we have some awesome looking minis. Gary, hold on. Sorry. Like, I love this. This is so cool. It's like you're gonna want to draft this just so you have it, you know? That is neat. So they have, I'm not gonna go through every sculpture, but we have this guy. Some of these are, my God, there's a lot. So we got all those in there. Of course, this guy gets his own special little bag, I think because he was one of the stretch goals or something. Got 1 random token here. Let's see what else we got. Got some other tokens and standees. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, that's probably for like the pyramid dial. Right, that's all that stuff. Then we have our dual layered player boards. So let's see if we can take a quick look at these. Maybe, maybe not. Well, I'll show you once it's all put together. Got dual layered stuff there, that's cool. And those will actually slide into, oh, here we go. Here's some really nice jade and corn. Now, I will say, I kind of wish there was more corn and jade. There doesn't look like a lot. However, with that said, I think this is kind of a tight economy in this game. It's not like you're ever going to have 100 of these things. Like, you're lucky if you have like 3 or 4. According to people that have actually played it, at least. Okay, now we have all of these. There's going to be one for each player, and after we fill it in with a bunch of tokens and stuff, these are going to go on top of there, and everyone's just, you can just hand out a board really easy. That's pretty neat. We have this, which is for the Jade. Let's be honest, this is just, they made a big deal. They had, you know, some temporary artwork for the corn and jade trays that looked really cool. I thought maybe we'd get some sort of wooden thing, but we just get this really flimsy, you know, I don't know. This corn will basically go in there. I think, let's be real, I think most of us are gonna replace these. It is kind of a neat design, I guess, but it just does not feel like super nice. The jade one, it's kind of bent, it looks like, but the jade will go in there. I do like the colors, I like the art. It just feels kind of cruddy, you know? It just feels like it's gonna not hold up. I don't know the practicality. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna reserve real judgment for when I play it, see how it holds the stuff. But for now, not super happy with it. Then we have tons of cards, tons of more cards. What else we got in here? Another card, Scorpion. I think this is like the Kemet crossover stuff as well, because you can actually bring the monsters from Kemet into this game, which is kind of cool. We have this, and we have this thing, which it's supposed to be signed. This is just printed. Thanks everyone for backing. It's awesome. Blah, blah, blah. Some nice little artwork, I guess. But, I mean, it does, I mean, it'd be nice if it wasn't just printed, but what are they gonna do? Sign 10,000 copies? I'll tell you, the thing I'm most disappointed in, though, is this. There's supposed to be a really nice insert for this game. We get this, like, Yucatan, Mario. What the hell, you guys? This is like basically just like anything else. Like the player trays, that's nice. That's really nice. This is, I mean, I'm gonna test it out. Hopefully it all works well. But like, come on, like we got these crappy things. We got this. I do like these. I do like these. But it really just feels like they skimped out on some of the production stuff. Like this really cheapo pyramid box, this crappy insert, like that's not gonna organize. I mean, yeah, you can toss all this stuff in there. It's not really gonna organize it though. But you know what? Let's see what it looks like when it's all put together. Sorry, I did speak a little bit too soon. I forgot about these 2 boxes. So we have the expansion, 5 to 6 players. We got the different minis for these. Looks like they are different, which is good. Lots more gray pieces. My goodness, there's a lot of these. Got some other, oh, this must be, let's see, we have white. I don't know, maybe more monsters or something? I don't know. Something. More cards, more player trays. And you got the purple and the white here. And then here's where we have a couple more player aids. So now we have a total of 4. I still wish we had 6, but honestly, I'm probably never gonna play with 6. So what am I complaining about? So that's all that. Then we have lots more, oops, sorry. Oh my God, I cannot move without knocking this phone around. We have a bunch more tokens that'll be filling up the inside of this. And I believe this is where, which one was it? I think it was this one and this one. Those are the ones that were misprinted that I showed you. So that's the 5 to 6 player stuff. Then, last but not least, solo mode. To be honest, I don't really know why I backed the solo mode portion. I don't really ever play solo. I'm just one of those people, it's like I have to have everything. Maybe I'll try this sometime and give some sort of review or tutorial on it. But it's like, do they need an entire box for this? Is this really, they couldn't just throw this into the base game? It's like, you know, come on guys, it's a few cards, a few tokens, rule book, it looks like maybe one special board. You don't need a whole box for this. This could have been easily thrown into the base game, which I'll probably try to find a way to fit it into there. But let's see what everything looks like when it's all put together. Okay, so this is basically a 3-player setup on my table. It is a major table hog. But again, this is with all the upgraded stuff. You could definitely save some space by doing things like not spacing the minis out everywhere, not using the pyramids, etc. But honestly, I do like the table presence to all this. I do plan on playing it on a bigger table, but let's kind of take a look at what we got here. We have the big pyramids where you can rotate kind of what round it's on so you know what benefits are coming and your different levels for your guys here. This is replacing that little board. Instead, you have these 3 pyramids where you can track your levels on those things. Over here, we have the level 1, level 2, and level 3 monsters. I have the Kemet add-ons over here on the right. I'm contemplating putting the minis into this, but I don't know, we'll see. But each one of these has a mini, a card, and these little tokens with certain benefits when you activate them. And those are all there. On the board here, we have our 3 kind of central cities. We have our scoring and sacrifice markers. I just put them out there kind of randomly right now. You know, everyone with some troops and stuff. I believe you start the game where both of your leaders here start off with 3 troops, so I kind of spaced them out just to kind of give it a little bit of something. The only issue with these, I find it's almost better if they're laying down. Why do I say that? Because, for example, if I'm sitting over here, this pyramid right here is kind of hard to see, right? And okay, I could turn it real easy, no problem. I can see everything. But now if I'm over here, this person can't really see that one that well, etc. Whereas if they're all just laying down, you can see them all just fine, but not as fun that way, right? So I'm probably gonna leave them up. I'll see how people feel about it. I don't think it's that big of a deal to just grab them and turn them real quick. Now everybody has their player boards, their starting cards here. Like you can hold your prisoners, etc. I have the upgraded wood, which feels nice. This double layer board holds things great, you know, slots right in there. I like that they have these little grooves here, so it's really easy to, you know, pull things out, etc. Those are nice. We got green here. If you ever get one of the monsters, I showed green getting this like anteater thing. You have this little time token that says what round you'll have him through. You know, you can have your little benefit facing that way. You can hold up to 2 monsters, etc. You got your place to store your jade and your corn. The jade, I really love this jade. I love that they're all different. Like, pretty sure this is actual jade. Maybe not, but it's still cool. The corn is a weird resource because it feels kind of like a hard gummy bear or a hard rubber. Sorry, it's probably kind of blurry for you. I kind of want to eat it, but I don't know. Both of those give me the munchies. But I really do like the table presence to all this. It's just that it's so freaking huge. I still do not like these resource holders. 1, it still looks like there's way too few of things in there. 2, if it's like the yellow player there is like, hey, can you hand me the boxes? You know, you pick these up and it's like, they're gonna collapse. You know, it's just, it'd be nice to just have solid resource components that you could like pick and grab and hand to people. It's not a huge deal, but I'm probably gonna switch those out at some point. Now, the player aids are also huge. I just put them over all the other components here. and I'll go over how I store all that, or you might have already seen it depending on how I edit this, but this is just a 3-player setup with all this stuff. Oh, and this bag here, this is what I put in all those little gray dudes, because there is so many of them, and I didn't want them just scattered all over the table, so I had an extra bag laying around. I'm using that people can just grab from. I like the nice thing about the neoprene mat. I don't know, it feels nice to just be able to slide these guys. You can do that on a normal board too, but I love neoprene. I like that these player boards wrap perfectly around the board. I will say with these, if, for example, you had this against the mat, they don't exactly line up. It's not a huge deal though. But if I originally set this up where I tried setting all these around the mat, but then you really lose visual of everything. You do kind of have to just set them off to the side. But everyone can clearly see where everybody's at, what level they're on. I think that's pretty great, you know. I also thought originally maybe this would be sitting on top of this, but while it's double layered, there's still like all these things, your prisoners, etc. Those are all still loose. I do kind of wish it was double layered where you set these as well, but I don't know, gameplay will show what they do. Yeah, so that's this thing all set up for 3 players. Okay, so let's look at how we set up this player board and what I think of this player board. Again, I kind of love that these things are recessed and there's little grooves to be able to pull out the things once they're in there. Some of the things are not recessed that I wish kind of were, like the little monsters. Even this little component area, I kind of wish was recessed a little bit just in case there's a little bit of sliding. But everything else is great. This slides right off. And underneath we have everything else, okay? I have the upgraded wood, so all 3 of these and these fit right in there, no problem. They don't slide out or anything. Over here we have our big leader and then our 2 smaller leader guys. We have our scoring and sacrifice markers, which fit in there great. This little compartment is a little weird. You have these 3 markers, which fit, you know, on these pyramids, but it doesn't, it's like a weird rectangular shape, and they fit in there fine, but getting them out is a little bit of a pain. You know, I don't know. When I had the cardboard in there initially testing that was a little more difficult. It's just a little thing. I wish they just had a little area kind of carved out to put your finger in there a little easier. Up here, we have your 3 tokens for that. We have these. The only issue with this part is if you have the 5 to 6 player expansion, you're gonna have 5 of these for each color. And if you put this up here, your lid will not close. So on Board Game Geek, they show this going down here. The other weird thing is everyone has some of these, which can be put into your player boards right here, right? But there's no real spot for them. And on Board Game Geek, where they showed supposedly where you're supposed to put all this stuff, they show it going right here, okay? When you have just cardboard, that's fine. But when you don't have cardboard, you know, this sits way up there. There's no way the thing's going in there. There was an empty space back here that wasn't being used for anything. So that's what I'm using it for. They fit in there just fine. So I'm not sure why they're recommending people put it here, especially if you have the wood. Then we have all of these. I do love the way these work. Why? Because you're not struggling getting these out. The way they designed it with these little triangles, kind of no matter where you push on it, the thing pops up and you can just grab them out easy. I love that. Same with these ones here. You can pick them out really easily. You're not struggling, and you don't want to struggle getting this stuff out. That's all great. You got level 1s, level 2s, and level 3s. The buildings are going this way though, so you have level 1s, level 2s, and level 3s. I don't think it really matters which way you do it, what works best for you. I tried to match them so like they have kind of this pyramid looking shape here. Then you have those, which are these, the people there, etc. I'm kind of OCD, I guess, so I tried to match it up to that. Now, underneath here, we also have our cards, and mine are sleeved. So, again, it's nice to have a little area to be able to pull these out. My cards are sleeved, and they fit in there great. You have your starting cards, which have your color in the bottom right, and all the benefits, whatever, at the top. Underneath those cards, we have your little round trackers for if you get a monster, and the stuff that can go on the top of your leaderboard here. And all of these things are nice and easy to get out, and they fit in there great. Again, the sleeved cards fit perfectly fine. You just got to put this little thing on top here. And then there's the little grooves that you just got to make sure your stuff is under. It's hard to do with one hand. Hold on. Boop. And then this just slides right over. Boom. Okay, so now how do we get all this crap back into this amazing insert that we have here? Well, let's talk about that. First of all, we have our monster cards and we have our battle cards. These are all sleeved. I will say one thing that was super confusing to me at first is all these symbols in the bottom right. Like, we have multiple different types of symbols on these monsters, as well as the battle cards. There's these different symbols. Sometimes they're blank. Sometimes they are like that symbol. There's some other, like that one. And I could not find anywhere in the rule book that explained what those are. Excuse me, goodness gracious. And I think after scouring a bunch of comments, I don't think they mean anything. It's just a matter of basically like what game up or stretch goal it was, etc. But I find it very strange they don't explain what those symbols mean anywhere. So when I was originally putting these together, I was like, are these supposed to be shuffled together? But I think essentially it's just showing you different modules that you can add or not add to the base cards that come, which are these. But I just shuffle them all together. Now, when we're storing these, I'm taking the battle cards and I'm taking the monster cards, which I have already pre-sorted into like level 1s up to level 2s and 3s. I really think it would have benefited them to put what level these are on these cards. I thought maybe the symbols corresponded to that, but they don't. Because like that's a level 3 guy. He has and what's this little symbol? I don't know what that means. I don't know. But anyways, I have this pre-sorted into levels 1s, 2, and 3s, putting them together with the battle cards. Not shuffling them though, but they fit perfectly right there, okay? No problemo. Next, we have our jade, which we just close right up like so. And we have our corn, which we close up the same way. We just close it. Bada bing, bada boom. These I am just placing right here in this corner, okay? Just like so, okay? Next, and I probably should have done this first, whatever, we have our player boards, right? With all our stuff. We can fit 4 of them in here, okay? So I got 3, and then 4. I always gotta have red on top because I like red. If you have the 5-6 player expansion, they will not fit in here, okay? Unless you really don't mind lid lift, it'll be like up to here. So I'll show you that box in a minute, but as of right now, we have this. We got the cards, player boards, jade, and corn, okay? Then, I have this big bag. This is the one filled with all these gray minis, okay? I am just putting this in this big empty spot right here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now we have that. Then, look at this beautiful insert. Luckily, it organizes all of this for us by letting us just throw it in there. They even have directions where they basically say to throw it all in there. But for real, I have this little baggie that I saved from when I was unboxing everything, and I have this sorted into level 1s, 2s, and 3s. And I'm just wrapping these up and putting them right there. Then we have all these multipliers, which I don't know why there are so many multipliers. Unless there's something I'm missing. Like, I'm pretty sure these are used for resources, but like, why are there so many? Like, at most you're gonna have 6 people, and this is only some of them. There's a ton more that I never even popped out, because and I'll probably regret when I find out it's for something else, but anyways, we're just putting those right on top over there. Okay, then essentially we're just trying to get all these minis into here, okay? So I like to work big to small, so we're gonna do that guy and this guy, and you can fast forward here if you want to. I'm just kind of randomly doing this because we just gotta get them all in there somehow, one way or another. Hopefully not damaging anything. Bada bing, bada boom. Also, I have to say, I love this mini. It's so cool, but be careful for those things. They can be sharp. Not saying that for any particular reason. Got our little standees here. And you'll notice we do still have some room. So we have our 6 pyramids here, which I really wish they would have labeled like beginner pyramids or not. They don't really say which ones are the first 3 you're supposed to use. There's no real iconography that says. So I don't know if you're just supposed to do 3 randomly or whatever, but I don't know. But they all fit right in there. I know, that's so organized, right? Good organizer. We also have our first, what I think is our first player token, because the directions don't actually have pictures of any of the resources, but I'm assuming that's what this is. It's the first player token. So I'm gonna just put this right there. Woo! Hardcore. Okay, now this is the bulk of it, right? We have, and I like the way this all kind of works out with the gray minis, corn and jade, and the player trays and the cards. I'm just not a fan of all this. I really think they could have organized this to, you know, have a nice little thing where this goes and where the pyramids can go. Or not pyramids, but the city tiles. You know, have a little section for all the different minis or something. And they really should have made, as big of a box as this is, I really think it should have been able to incorporate the 5 and 6 player expansion. I'm probably gonna put the solo mode stuff in here, but I'm also contemplating just getting rid of the solo mode because I'm probably never gonna play that. But we still have a few more things here, right? We got our, if you're not gonna use the pyramids, there's this board. I'm keeping this just for when I need smaller player space. We also have this board, which I'm considering getting rid of the neoprene mat just because this does fit. And there's nothing special about the neoprene mat that this doesn't have. It's not like it's incorporating a bunch of stuff. Like the Kemet playmat incorporates a bunch of stuff. This one doesn't. So we're just gonna put that right on there. This board, at least the way I've configured it, doesn't quite fit because of the corner of this. I've tried finagling it a few different ways. You can kind of wedge it, but honestly, whatever. I'm gonna replace those trays anyways. Got all the player aids and the rule book on top here. And let's just put this on the very top because why not? And then we got the box cover. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so now that is Yucatan all boxed up. Okay, let's talk about pyramid storage. We have all these pyramids that we don't want to have to put together every time. So they provide us with this lovely, flimsy, crappy box. Originally they had no directions for how to store them into this. Now on Board Game Geek, they do have directions on how to store them on this, except for they don't tell you how to put this box together. I mean, you can figure it out after a little bit, but it was kind of annoying that even the box, they didn't really show how to put together. There is a certain way you need to fold these to get this to stay, and there's like a sticky thing you gotta do, etc. But ultimately, we have a big old empty box. Now, I am not going to store it the way that they show, because the way that they show is to remove all these. You got to do that, obviously. Boom, boom, boom. Now, all of these pyramids have a little base, okay? At the bottom of these bases, there's a little tab holding them in here and here, okay? The way they show it online is they remove the base from every single one of these. Like, come on, I don't want to disassemble it to hold my pyramids in a thing designed to where I don't have to reassemble it. Like, what are you guys thinking? So here's how we're gonna do it. We have our big pyramid here. This fits right in there, just like that. Okay, let's see if I remember how I did this, probably not. Then we're gonna have one right in the middle here. I put the kind of long side down so the stair steps kind of match up, right? Do that. Then we got one on this side right here like so. And then we got one on this side like so. Okay, and then we got all of these. Boom. Now, hold on. Okay, quick little update. I actually turn these sideways like so, because otherwise these things weren't gonna fold over. But in this way, you can get the big pyramid and all the 3 other pyramids in there just fine. So let me close this. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, now we have the pyramids stored. I'm probably gonna super glue them just because that way I don't have to risk them falling apart whenever I pull them out. But I still think they could have provided a much better option, or at least a sturdier box. Like, we really didn't need a super big 5-6 player box and solo box. Like, I would have much rather had a good quality box for this. Also, I think it's weird that they showed it taking the bases off when you don't need to. But yeah, there's that. Okay, so now let's rebox the expansion for the 5 to 6 players. This one's pretty straightforward. We have our 2 player trays, which do not fit this way. They have to go this way. Maybe this way. There we go. Those go right in there. These are the particular minis and standee that it says it's for 5 to 6 players. So originally I had this in the base game, but since it's only for 5 to 6 players, I put their corresponding cards, tokens, and minis in this box. So this is nothing fancy here. We got the cards, got the little tokens, got the little minis. I should just put those all together over here. Would have been nice if there was some sort of organizer for this, but there's not. And then we have all these gray minis. Again, I have that huge black bag in the other one, but it kind of maths out where there's almost basically one of these little baggies for every player, maybe a little more. So I'm just leaving these in here, and I figure I'm only ever gonna use those guys if I run out of the other ones, and I'm probably honestly never even gonna play 5 or 6 player. I really only got this so I have the option to do white or purple. Also, I wanna point out this little particular mini here. This is an interesting concept they have going on, because as you notice, these things kind of don't connect, and they each have their own token as well as one for when they're together. And they kind of snap together. It's more like they kind of barely press together. I was like, oh, maybe I should glue it. But then when I read in on it, sometimes they are gonna be with separate troops. And then sometimes there may be a situation where they're together, but they're only used in the 5-6 player expansion. So I don't even know if I'm ever gonna experience these guys, but that is kind of cool. Then we just put the lid on. Boom, done. All right, so now let's rebox some solo mode and talk about solo mode a little bit. First, we have this big solo board, which will go right in there. We have these 3 markers, which I think are called the choice markers, based on the components list. Now, this components list, it's it has issues just like the other one, right? It basically tells you you have your board, all these cards, and your markers, right? Well, I was going through, and these are event cards, it says at the bottom. It says there should be 16 of them, which there were. 5 of these building tiles, which there are. These evolution ones. Everything matches except for when we get to here. It says 3 leader cards. Yep, we got that. 3 chief cards. Okay. Oh, those aren't on there anywhere. So what the hell are these chief cards? And why is it not on the list? I haven't gone through these rules yet, but when the components list doesn't even list everything, that's a worry right off the bat. But I'm putting the rule book right there. All these sleeved cards fit right here. Again, whoa, geez. You could easily probably fit this into the main core box. The only reason I'm not is because I may sell this solo mode. Geez. Also, I had a bunch of these extra cards left over. After sleeving the entire game, the 5 to 6 player expansion, this solo mode, etc., I had 2 sleeves left. So props on them for not miscounting that. Assuming I don't need these cards. These are also event cards and building cards, but they are repeats of stuff that's already in there. And according to their components list, I should have everything I need here. Now, I'm keeping these for now, just unsleeved, along with these couple extra sleeves, just in case I find out I need them, or if I sell them, I don't know. I want to make sure they're all there. It also came with all these other cards here, but these are just the non-English versions, so I'm getting rid of those. But that's it for the solo mode. Again, you could easily fit this into the core box if you want to. I'm just not, purely because I'm probably going to sell the solo mode. But I am going to try it at least once to see if I like it. I'm just not much of a solo gamer. Okay, so you've now seen it all on the table. You've seen it unboxed and reboxed. I have yet to actually play this game. I'm going to be playing it in a couple of days from when I'm posting this. I have a few friends. We have a game store we go to with a huge table where we're going to try this out. It's probably at maximum going to be a 4-player game. I don't know if I really want to delve into 5 or 6 until I'm really comfortable with the rules. Because the rules, oh my gosh. This game is riddled with issues with the rule book. Now, I'm not going to get in depth on all the specifics of it all, but if you follow the comments on the Kickstarter as well as the Board Game Geek threads, a lot of people are not happy about this rule book. And for good reason. There's a lot of stuff in this game that is not explained at all. There's a lot of, I literally just grabbed this card right off the top. There's iconography on here, like this one has these 2 things with the arrows. There's nothing explaining what that does. There's things saying like, oh, these are summonings. Okay, so does this mean I'm swapping 2 summons of my own from one troop to another troop? Does it mean I'm taking one of their summons and giving them one of mine? How does that work? I don't know. A lot of these symbols in the bottom of the cards that aren't explained. Lots of rules that are vague. If you saw my solo portion of this video, the solo mode box, there's components that are not even listed in the components. There's no pictures for anything, so it's like you kind of have to just guess what is what, like what's the, I don't know, there's also like 6 central cities, but they don't say which ones are the ones you're supposed to use each time or if it matters. A lot of the rule book on surface level, I initially read it, I'm like, okay, I get this. But then when I was kind of setting it up and looking through some of the threads on Board Game Geek, I realized there is a lot missing from here. A lot of clarifications, a lot of what ifs that are not explained in this at all. And on one hand, that's really upsetting because during the Kickstarter, they had people look at the rule book and make like, hey, let us know if there's issues with it. And so many people, this issue, this issue, this issue, this typo, that typo. I wonder if there's even any on here I could see right away. I don't know. Yeah, right here, look. what's it say? Put back one prisoner, Dan's in the supply. Dan's? Like, there's typos all over this thing. With that being said, though, I believe they are listening to that feedback. They understand people are not happy about this at all. And I think they've been gathering a lot of data from people who are outraged, and they are basically compiling a new rule book. A lot of this is translated from French, I believe. Don't take that with a grain of salt, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're going to come out with a new rule book, and I can't wait to get that. This game also had a lot of little misprints and stuff for the 5 to 6 player expansion, for example. I say lots, like a couple tokens basically had a misprint on there that did not match up with like what was on the player aid, for example. But they sent out already, and I showed at the beginning of the unboxing, the replacement pieces for those. So if you have those, awesome. Yeah, so I'm hoping that the gameplay is smooth enough that some of the rules issues are kind of special case scenarios, or we can kind of intuitively figure it out. Because again, it seems like the basics of the game, if you just read the rule book, the structure of it makes sense. You know, it seems pretty straightforward. To me, it's just upsetting the things like them not putting in a little picture of how everything's supposed to be organized in the player trays. The biggest thing, though, that honestly grinds my gears is the insert in this box, if you want to call it that. Just because there's a piece of plastic in the box does not make it an insert. The player trays, top notch. I love those. Honestly, they're organized well. They did eventually post something on Board Game Geek to show how they organized, sort of, even though they were kind of wrong about a couple pieces. But other than that, that one basically big empty black tray, and you have all these other pieces. You know, you have these multipliers, you have these tokens for the monsters, you have all the minis, you have all this other stuff. And it's kind of like, I guess I'll just dump it all in here. During the Kickstarter, they made a big deal about there's going to be like this nice custom insert. I'm expecting much better quality. Like, look at Dwellings of Eldervale, if you're familiar with that game. That game has an amazing insert. Everything is just like, boom, you put it away. It's in a bigger box than this, but sometimes you need a bigger box. This should have been able to fit the 5 and 6 player expansion and a solo mode. These should have came in a kind of maybe even a crappier box. Solo mode could have just been packaged with this. Like, I don't even know why this is an add-on. It's a few cards and like one extra board. Just make that part of the game, you know, just put it in there. 5 to 6 player expansion, I understand that being an add-on, right? Or a goal, or whatever you want to call it. But they should allow you to be able to fit it in here if you do get it, you know. What Dwellings of Eldervale did was very smart. They developed the box. They had one size box, and it was for all the pledge levels. But they built it around the legendary big pledge level with everything. If you got a smaller pledge, you just had some empty space, you know. Because I think you should cater to the people spending more money. Because if you look at who bought what pledges, a lot of people are getting the bigger pledges. You know, usually the base game, that's the least amount of people. And they should have really designed this box around everybody having everything, you know. Have a bigger box that fits 5 to 6 players, the solo mode, have an actual insert that really, you know, the player trays are great, but then have something that organizes all the tokens and the first player token and the corn and jade a little better. Those boxes too, what a joke those are. I mean, you know, but while it sounds like I'm complaining big time, I honestly am really excited for this. I'm probably going to sell my solo mode portion because I'm just not a solo gamer. I couldn't help it. I wanted the all-in. I may sell the playmat just because it's the exact same size as the board. I kind of wish the playmat was a little bigger, or I don't know. Those big 3D pyramids are cool. They add great table presence, and I'm going to use them when I can. But as you saw on my table, there's not much room, okay? And I thought I can fit most games on this table just fine. But when you have the display of all those monsters and you have those 3D pyramids, and because the board is round, and you're gonna have these 2 giant player tray things for each player, it takes up a lot of space. And the pyramids are honestly the most useless thing in the game. They're cool. Everything on them could have been tracked easily on a player board in a space about this big. You know, have a little token. I'm on this level of this track, this level on this track, this level on this track. That's all you need. Or even on the main board itself, a little place where you can track all those things. That's all you need. With that said, I'm still going to use the pyramids. I think they're cool. But it would have been nice if like the playmat or something somehow incorporated another option to where if you don't want to use any of the pyramids and it's all one board, like the round board is cool, but I honestly would prefer a rectangular board that fits a normal table. And you know, the design choice is unique, and I'm glad they tried something new, because I like how the player boards kind of wrap around and whatever. But ultimately, I don't know. We're gonna see where this game lands. This game really got swept under the radar for being, you know, the 4th game after Inish, Cyclades, whatever, and Kemet. You'd think this game would be like a huge deal. Like, those games are super popular. Those are like some of the best games ever, some of my favorite games. And to have this one come out and like almost nobody's talking about it. They did a playthrough on the Dice Tower. I don't know. I don't really know what else I have to say. I would love to know your thoughts on this game. I would suggest, if you're upset about stuff, to at least be polite to the people on Board Game Geek and Kickstarter. I myself have commented on there and not been super nice, so don't do what I do. Try to be nice, and I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm hoping the gameplay just outshines everything. I honestly think if they come out with a new rule book, this game could really skyrocket. Honestly, I think on Etsy, some people are going to probably end up making custom inserts and stuff. And I think this game is going to evolve like wine. But maybe the gameplay sucks. But everybody I've heard has said, you know, the gameplay is great. It's just that the rulebook sucks, or this component issue, or that. So I'm glad I got this. It's such weird to wait so long, but yeah. Please like and subscribe. Comment below whatever you want to talk about in terms of this game, your thoughts, and thanks for watching.